charge you for that. Ooh, hi, honey. I'm assuming that's you, who I was just replying to. My first viewer. Whoop, whoop. See, on TikTok, you need 1,000 followers, and you're also limited to what you can say. And being that my topic is about sex, well, we don't want to get kicked off on my first live there, nor do I have 1,000 followers there. And I can say and do more here. So I'm excited to just kind of have a Sunday night chat with people and get the conversation going. I miss it, not being at the store. I haven't been at the store since August, and I miss it. I miss the conversations and just being able to help people in so many different ways. So yeah, I just want to see, I also noticed, I mean, you're a marketing person. So I noticed that how the lives are working in TikTok and what people are doing. I want to kind of utilize that. But obviously I know that it's also a lot are going towards YouTube. YouTube is where things land because you can search and it's easier to do things. But the lives, I noticed are a lot more gamers and things. So here's hoping I'm ahead of the curve for the lives and how they work. I don't get, the bonus money and tips and whatever that TikTokers do, but whatever, that's not what I'm here for. I mean, yeah, pay my rent, but that will all come in good time. So I know you probably are driving, but if you have any questions, please feel free. I have no idea if YouTube accounts can be added as a voice in the background because I don't know how to do that yet. Let's look in here. Waka, waka, waka. What else was there? Nope. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Oh, I have a second person in here. Welcome, welcome. Conversation is just what you see right in the title is about can you say sex? And I know that the conversation can be very limiting in TikTok. So I want to have the conversation here and to be able to open it so people can have, legit conversations that are not crude and rude and like, oh, hey, let me see your, and take that off. That's not what this is about. So if you're looking for that, you are in the wrong place. That's not what this is about. This is about being comfortable with the conversation of sex and beyond that, taking from when I worked in a sex shop and the conversations I had the privilege to have with beautiful people that came in there and were nervous to talk about, whatever it was that they were trying to fulfill, to find, to all the above, everything you can imagine. I can't even express how amazing the conversations and stories that I got to have with people there. It was like a different realm of life that I lived for just like 6 months there. But at the same time, it was just a really nice wide eye opener that there was um this whole community, if you will, like I call it a community, and some of them are like, well, they're this and that, and everybody's got their opinions and all their little groups and stuff, and that's okay. And I shared one piece today on about from my fashion house. I shared, or I think it was last night, the this or that, and it was like the love paddle versus um, uh, the teach me caller. So just kind of, dom versus sub. And with that, that's not also, that also is not what this conversation is about the whole BDSM. It's not where we're going with this whatsoever. This is about just being more open and understanding what it all entails, what all is out there. Because there are some adults that I can guarantee you would love to know about the events and things that are going on. There are clubs, there are um, private parties, private groups that then have events and parties in different places. There's the events themselves, like where there's an organization that puts on the big event and you go in like special clothes or whatever. Like, you set for the theme. It's always theme. Every one of them, in one way or another, they all have a theme. And so it's always interesting, but you don't have to be specifically in the theme, but be, a little more like ready to just the riskayer, I guess, if you will. Some of them, like Sin City here in Vancouver, that's one of the organizations, and they put on parties, and it will be like a circus theme or a bondage theme. So in that case, it is where it's all about the extras. Then there's so many others that are. It's not about that. It's more about um, what do you want to call it? I lost everybody by the looks of it there for a second, but I also want to make sure because I feel like I am. Oh, there, my clock is moving again. I was frozen. So yeah, it's also about just the parties and places you can go, the stores to shop from, and not be so embarrassed to shop in the stores. There's just opening the conversation to have between couples and partners. And to understand and not be afraid to have some of the conversations, because that's a huge thing that I absolutely recognize. There's a lot of couples and partners, whatever. And I'm genderized, or I'm not genderizing. What's the word I'm looking for? Generalizing. That's what it was. See, I got gender in my head and then I went over there. So I'm generalizing the whole and I lost my train of thought because there was somebody here. But yeah, I'm just trying to generalize the whole concept, the whole conversation, everybody wanting to be a part of it, and not be afraid to talk to partners and each other if you're in a partnered relationship, or even about for yourself. That's a really big one. Being just self-aware and understanding and respectful for yourself is really, really important. Um, and that was even a key point that when working in the store, how many I knew before out of conversations and things, like I've been, open conversation for decades. However, I not to the depth that I got to be immersed in it in this year, where it really got to open my eyes and be able to see and hear from those who were just embarrassed to even just walk into the store. They're like, I literally can't tell you at least once, if not minimum 5 times within one shift there, it would be people walking and kind of coming up to the counter and whispering to me, going, I've never been in one of these places before. And they'd be nervous or like, I'm just browsing. And it'd be for different reasons, so many different reasons that are just fascinating and interesting, because you can't assume that everybody's journeys are like yours, because it's far from it. And um, yeah, so that's what this is about, that kind of conversation. I'm going to get some more people in here, though. That's for sure. We're gonna get some people. Dun, 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 dun. Auto reply. La, 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 la. Nope, 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 nope. 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 Just on my phone, working on collecting some people, but with ADHD and then seeing certain things, I get distracted. And I'm also checking multiple different platforms of people and how they connect with me and how I have shared it. So, and la 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 la. Well, I wonder if that makes a difference. Nope, that's not what I want either. Hello, whoever is in the room. Welcome. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you being here. I think I accidentally turned off the commentary part about who can message, so I'm just trying to find the answer to fix that so the commentary can begin, because that's obviously kind of an important situation. Especially, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do that. Hopefully that worked. So if anybody, when I say something, say hi. Say so in the comments. I'd love to see, you have any questions about, the conversation about what the title, the whole can you say sex is all comes together because of my book that I am writing, and about the conversation that so many can't seem to have, or literally topics that they can't even have with their doctor. They can't have the conversation because they're too shy, too nervous, too embarrassed, there's so many things in it because of our societies, in whatever culture you come from and wherever in the globe that you come from, how many different ways that's the topic of sex, just that simple three little word, how different it's perceived and taken in so many different ways. Oh, hello, honey. It's you that's back. Welcome back. Thank you. Yeah, so the sex store was such a beautiful conversation creator. And so that's what I want to do here. I want to be able to have the conversation and people be able to open up and come chat with me. And just trying to get to 1,000 on TikTok was a task. I worked my ass off this weekend trying to make it happen, but it did not happen. So yet, but it's also very restrictive. The more, because some of the things I would try to say, like I can't even say sex in my comments, or the whole comment gets like blocked out. So being that the topic, so I gotta be able to get around. I just spell it backwards is kind of the go-to. And I know when people, instead of swearing, they say banana, or, there's code words that they've all started to use, which is kind of funny, but, and so I'll say it backwards, but I think that's hilarious that that's one of them. But I understand that there's trollers out there and they're going to be nasty. And yes, exactly. Huge religion and then some is such a massive thing, and especially from Christians and Catholics, that's no, you don't talk about it. You don't talk about it. Your parents don't talk about it to you the way that they should. So even just the whole idea of self-pleasure, it was just not a topic. You didn't talk about it. I come from a generation, I don't come from a a religious family. My mom, she took religious studies as a PhD, so I got a full realm of religious studies throughout my life from her. But her being that single mama, single woman, she really had quite a different angle and view of what to see. But at the same time, her upbringing from her immigrated parents that came to Canada, and there were so many things that are connected with that there's reasons, and then her experiences. There's just so many factors that create how then she was able to open up and teach us. And it's the same in any family. Hello, whoever else just popped in, please take a sec to say hello. I appreciate you being here. And if you haven't hit subscribe yet, please do. I love all the audience I can get on whatever. Just make sure you say hi in the comments, because I love to see who popped in. But yeah, the conversation with and through, if you're a religious family, it's a cultural thing of whether you can say it. And some aren't, so it's not so much about the religion, but the culture. Like they're just like, can walk around naked and in front of their kids. There's a friend of mine, and they're from Chile, and their mom just was so open, and then his wife, and so his kids, the way they're open to being okay with a woman's body and it not being a sexual item, but also being able to just openly talk about, to be healthy about all those things, is really, it's so different. When I poke the conversation at a few people outside of the store, that's when people are like, oh, well, I can't say that, or all kinds of things that they were just like, oh, I even had like some of my closest friends, I didn't realize, like, I kind of had an idea, but they were never open that way. And I don't pry. If you don't want to talk about that stuff, it's not my business. So whatever. But I kind of opened up about what I was talking about. And after, gosh, how long have I known them? For like 20 years. They've literally, all of a sudden, I hear from their side, I get uh they're a little more frisky than I expected, if you will, I guess. Frisky's one way, but I can put it. But just, I know there's a lot of people also who thought I was like a prude. So, but if you really get to know me, Glorify, you've played, or you've not played with me, but you have partied with me and we've gone out. So I know you know me well enough that I'm not afraid of conversation. But I think it's important that we do talk to our kids, raising my son and then raising 3 kids there in my marriage for a bit, that stepkids, and their mom wasn't in the picture. So it wasn't about that. But it was an interesting conversation in ways to have, because I also, one of the kids came out as non-binary. So then learning that whole entire learning some gender shit, that's for sure. Really learning about the gender shit, but it's so, just diving into those deep little things was so fascinating. But also, to what really opened my eyes, to understand the whole non-binary and the whole gender spectrum, that those that are not within it or don't have a close friend or relative that are in the spectrum and either more, identify as A or B, those people are usually like, I don't get the whole gender thing. There's too many. There's all these things that are out there now, and that's not what it's about at all. Gender, as the organization that because I was in touch with the hospital and stuff like that to make sure that we had the right support for them. And the organization just kept on going, it's not about, sex and gender are not the same thing. Your sexual preference is not the same thing. And so I opened up my eyes and kind of to separate that, and learning that and understanding it from so many different perspectives has been beautiful and interesting. That's for sure. But part of the conversation that I can't wait to have with a whole bunch of people online. So, we'll see how it rolls. Hello. Perfect. jump on YouTube, my dear. Waka waka. Friend of mine that is a great sexual conversationer with me. Very good conversations. I actually met her at one party, and she's just like a little kindred spirit. So she was just getting off work, and hopefully she pops on here. Whoever just popped back in the room or popped in the room for the first time, make sure you pop in the comments and say hi. I'd like to see everybody that says hi. But come join the conversation. It's kind of open. If you have any questions, by all means, ask away. Like, join. I just like, that's what I'm here for. I'm blabbering away about my reasons behind what I'm writing in my book, why I'm having these lives, the conversations in all the directions, is for me to have these platforms to be able to reach a larger community to have these conversations. I want to be able to reach on a global scale. Some of the people that I actually met trying to get through on TikTok and get live there, they're like in Australia and East Coast or America and all of that. So I want them, I'll come and say, hi, what's up? So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them on here and supporting me. So I've got people from around the world that are all in about the same conversation. I've met some really cool people that I can't wait, that have some really great topics that are doing similar, if you will, similar things. So you're not getting any sound? That's important. So pardon my technical difficulties. I'm just hoping that I am helping them. You can type to me. Smiley face, I love you. You're watching me while I'm typing. No, speaker is crossed out and can't unmute. Well, that's bizarre, and I hope... Glorife, are you able to hear me at the moment? Are you back in the room? Are you here? Can you answer me? That's not the word I typed. That's the word I typed. Glorife, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe nobody can hear me. What's going on here? Okay. Can anybody hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. Details. Waka, waka, waka. Live. All that jazz. Don't see anything about a mic or volume or otherwise. Oh, maybe this? Let me try just what language I'm in. Maybe that might make a difference. Canadian English, please. What the? What the? Okay, well. Oh, that's why. Recording data and location, that doesn't matter. Definitely don't put that. Don't understand. I'm going to put this one back. And try that. Maybe? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can't figure out how to type to you via phone app. Don't see the option. Well, shit, girl. Aren't you an iPhone tech? Because she is. Oh my goodness. I don't understand tech, so I don't know how to fix it. I went live earlier today on this thing just to kind of in my pajamas and makeupless because I didn't know what I was going to expect. So, girl, get on here. Just figure it out. Be a good girl. Or at least be in the room. Boo. Stupid speaker. What? She can go get on her Mac and use it there. Is that you I'm talking to? Is Gloryface still in the room? I'm not sure which one. Either way, I can talk to both of you that way. Oh, Gloryface, I miss you. I'm actually working on hoping to be there for the Taboo show in Calgary. It's the weekend of the 11th. So, because I'd like to come and do commentary and shit like that there. So, if you're in town that weekend, we definitely have to get together and see what happens. Well, so this is what you do when there's nobody in the room. Figured out, I know, but like on TikTok, it just swipes through. What's this? Is that just my volume? Yeah, when I get loud. Oh, so are you away the whole weekend? That's a bummer. I might stay a little longer, like into the next week, because I might actually just go from Calgary to Edmonton, because the Edmonton show, I think it's the following weekend. I'm so freaking last minute. Like, look how close to the dates we are, and I'm still trying to figure out whether I'm going. But like, one was going to pay for me to come and help them with one thing. Somebody else was going to have me come for something else. But I'm trying to be for the Taboo. So it's kind of a wish-wash, but more than likely I will be there before like the 10th, and then at least maybe to like middle of the next week. Because what I'm doing now, technically I'm jobless. But this is my job. This is what I'm trying to make happen to be my job. And hence, look, I'm even doing it from my bed because, well, it's the topic. I thought it would be the most appropriate place to do it. Why not? But yeah, so we'll see. I might be back, or I might be still there for a bit. But yeah, I was there in September shortly for my buddy's club. They were having their anniversary. He's been running that club for the last 9 years. Again, actually, that's another friend. We've known each other since like we were kids. We literally grew up together on the East Coast in PEI, but you don't talk about that stuff down there. And PEI is a very religious island. And I lived I was in Calgary, and not until I moved away and I'm here and I brought up the conversation online and go, fuck it, I'm talking about sex on Facebook. Like, let's see what happens. I was actually a little nervous the first time I did, but then I was just like, fuck it. That's the whole fucking point. Just say it. But I had my buddy, I find out then he's like messaging, he goes, oh, you're in the sex and blah, 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 blah. I run a club in Calgary, a whole sex club, a sex club. How did I not know that he had a sex club? And we've known each other since we were children. Yeah, him and his wife have been running it for the last 9 years. And this club actually has been in existence since 1983. So like, this is not, new age lifestyle. This shit's been around. And now that I've been kind of, poking around just to understand and see what's there for this, that, or the other, even like, on Netflix, and there's a show on there about how to design a sex room. And she was just, Melanie on there, the designer, is so brilliant in so many ways. But many of the conversations that she had with each of her clients doing those rooms were very much like the ones I had at the store. And also, it's what I actually found out about the show from a customer. It brought them in because they realized, they're like, I thought me and my partner were kind of, kinky and on our own. And then I watched the show and realized how much I didn't know or was available. So that's what brought them in the store. So then they were telling me about it. And then, of course, got me watching it. And then I was telling other people about it. And then finding out some were watching it because, Netflix has got its thing going. But yeah, it was really cool that this whole just, I don't know, right now is the time to be able to be more open about the conversation and also more real about it, not so afraid to talk about it, and also to not to be afraid of what one wants for themselves. Coming out of my marriage, I it was for what it was. It was meant to be what it was, and for the time duration that it was. It was a blessing in disguise that came out of him ending it. However, like in the beginning, we were amazing and it was incredible and sex was all kinds of places because that's my thing. But then it just went flat and no, like I used to tease him and I used to even say to my girlfriends when I'd be on FaceTime and I go, yeah, he doesn't say nothing. He doesn't compliment nothing. He doesn't care for the lingerie. He doesn't nothing. But I thought our love was so deep and strong enough that I took it for granted that after and being, out of the marriage, realizing just well, I worked in a sex shop right after being in my marriage. So being there, of course, I'm getting these beautiful people that are, complimenting me, but then me having my eyes open to other couples and their scenarios and these loving, beautiful, um they worship each other in sentences, like, I was like, "Wow, where are those people?" Because, my love language is all about affirmations, and I kept reminding him of that, and I would say to him and, put him on the spot, and his comments, I the best way to describe him was, "If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all," and that was kind of his route. He just went with not saying anything at all. So, for me, it was I never had the best of self-confidence anyways, but instead, during that time, I knew that I had to keep myself going for my own self-confidence because what else who else was gonna do it for me? I'm in a house where I'm just, like, momming it with 4 kids, and the blending part and all of that was like, "Whoa." However, the actual, like, when it came out too, like, coming out afterwards and finding out, like, I was actually could be desirable and people would want me and then some, and just and then finding out different ways that I can go and explore and have fun as a single woman, no matter what age I am, and all these beautiful things and options that are out there. And yeah, it's pretty fascinating, and definitely been a fun 6 months. But what a whirlwind! My life in January, February, March is when it ended. My marriage. And then since then, I don't know. I'm in a different world, a whole different realm altogether, being a single mom of my son now being of 18 and living in an apartment. So, no, I've been in houses for the last 5 years or so, with all the kids and the family or more. Like there was always multiple people and multiple animals. And now it's none of that. So it's a reflect on me time that has turned around me being able to share and help bring others to talk and talk about their scenario, from whether it be their first vibrator and getting that and figuring it out, or not even knowing what to do because they'll go in and usually there's some they just like just see a wall of all these friggin' toys and they're just like, I don't even know. So then it's like, well, do you even play with yourself? Where's your points? What do you like? That's where you gotta start. And then go for something with that. And then they're like, oh, yeah, okay. Like, it's such comfort basics, but at the same time, we are so cut out society-wise in every direction to not talk about sex. And it's so damaging at the same time. It's so, so damaging. Oh, girl, girl. Vibrators, there were so many things that I learned about. Oh my god. There's some that are on my wish list for sure that I haven't tried, because also not all of them are so cheap. But also when you work in a store and you can't spend I was making minimum wage and I couldn't really spend my whole paycheck on sex toys every check, because but I curated a few pieces because I had nothing coming out of my marriage anyways. We had rope from the garage, which, we just cut up and used and had fun with one night. I got him. Well, he was not of sober mind that night. We had fun. So that was fun. And now, yeah, just actually, funny enough, some of those toys I've curated for myself do involve a little bit more of having of another person, like this whip thing. It was on clearance, but it was soft. Why don't I just show you? That's what we're here for. Oh my God. Hello. What are we here for? Here, look, I bought this makeup case to kind of carry them, because one thing I'm also working on in my fashion house, but I am going to be working on custom pieces that. Why didn't you just jerk yourself off? Here we go. Ooh, come down a bit. Custom how you should store your toys. So when you get your vibrator, and whatever type of vibrator, don't worry, these are all clean, I promise, because it's incredibly important that you keep your shit clean. These things are working with your body parts. But I'm just going to use this example. This is by Shibari. This is the mini wand. A wand is one when it has this kind of cut in here and that kind of hard. Now, the power to this fucker is like when it starts, let alone how far it goes. This was this was a toy actually present from my ex. Go figure. Here, go play with yourself. But I'm not too much about myself. I've been even learning that within it this year. But this thing was like, whoa. I mean, everybody's got their, well, not everybody, obviously. If you want a vibrator, really great starter, a basic, it's pretty, isn't it? It's this plastic. It's basic. You just put your battery in there. Mostly waterproof. This part here, let me see if you can see. There's a little turn piece here. That's your volume. I don't have the battery in it right now, so it's not going to make any noise or do anything. But yeah, that's a basic starter. Decent power, whatever. Super cheap. Like this, I think was $20. You can get them as cheap as like $14 or probably even less online somewhere. But yeah, just the basics. It's exactly like my very first one that I won, which is a funny story. I will share for later, my first vibrator. But this was, it's your basics. It gets the job done. If you lose it, whatever. It is battery operated. So I'm 50-50 battery operated or plug in. That's a whole conversation in itself, but I'm going to keep going on my point here for a second, and then we'll get back to that. So battery operated and this guy. So this guy, this isn't so much like the silicone. We were talking about storing stuff. This guy is really a great, well, it just is quite satisfying. It's about pressure. That's what it taught me. It taught me about pressure and speed and the different likabilities that you may or may not like within that. What is under my bed? Actually, nothing. Nothing. I like to try to keep it clean just to feel it, because I've always got shit going on with my ADHD that I don't keep anything under the bed. Oh, it's you, girl. Hi, honey. Mwah. Thanks for actually being here and figuring out how to text. But yeah, so Glorfade, for your vibrator, if you get one that is in plastic, great. It's pretty simple. You can throw it in your bin and it's whatever. But any of your ones that are a little bit more of a dollar that you're going to spend when you invest into it, once you figure out what you like, and having more than one is always a really good thing, because there's different points to different reasons. The silicone and silicone cannot go and sit together. So because silicone and silicone will actually eat each other. So also keep in mind, highly 110% recommend that you use lubrication. I don't care how wet you get, all naturally. Well, I mean, some ladies are like crazy, but I mean, you're my age and we're there, and no matter what, but even still, yes, we dry out as we get older, but at the same time, lube is just you just don't like the micro tears that can happen. It's not as comfortable. So speaking of lube, if you're going to use lube, because I suggest you do, when you get your vibrator, make sure that it's not a silicone lube either. Most of the time, water-based is better anyways. My girl Kelly that's in here, she's all about the natural shit. So coconut oil totally does the job. You can totally, it's all good and natural and safe as long as you don't have, some allergic reactions to coconut oil for whatever reason. But I think you got to consider your pH balance and not fucking with it down inside in there. So keep a water base, a hybrid. I do have a hybrid. And as long as I'm keeping this wash right after in that toy cleaner, speaking of, this is just, I refill this one. I have another toy, like, it comes like this, just a spray bottle. So right after, so I don't have to get the fuck out of bed and do anything. I can wash it tomorrow antibacterially. But like right after it, I just use this spray bottle. This is in my carrying case for potties. But yeah, spray bottle, just spray the shit out of it. Antibacterial. Do not use hand sanitizer because there's chemicals in that are not good. And if you didn't get all the soap suds off, that gets up in there. And that's not fun. But yeah. So going with the wand is like, this is like the mini wand. This is kind of like on Sex and the City. And Samantha went for her big massager. This is pretty much the same idea. Just the Shibari, the wands, they can come, they're much bigger. The one that Samantha has, also sex stores will carry that. They actually have the full plug-in, so you don't ever have to worry about a battery or dying out at the most inappropriate time, which has happened to me. So back on that note, battery operated or rechargeable. Batteries, you may not have a backup on hand. You may not have batteries in that moment. And if your battery dies out and you're really kind of fucking SOL, just have backup batteries. I like it because it's just, you don't have to worry about charging it. And then sometimes you're just like, oh, just stick a battery when you just need it. These ones, I love this fucker. However, I can't tell you how many times I've lost the fucking cord. And look, Kelly, I found it. Yay. So I've charged it, but I haven't even actually got to use it since I charged it. Because it was just like yesterday, the day before. But anyways, this is, you can't fucking charge it with just anything. The store I did work at, they had some like in little plastic baggies they would do resell, but some of them, it's not just a simple, easy like camera or phone plug-in. This one has a poker, and it goes in like that. And they're all the rechargeables are just USB. So you just, no different than a phone. But that's part, these can vary. So some they all come with their own charger. If they're rechargeable, it will tell you on the front of any of the boxes, but these can be of different length or thicknesses that may not work. So you might have one with one, but it may not work in the other, which is a real bitch. So when I lose this, it's really hard to find a replacement. So I've spent more time without being able to use it because I have no idea where the fuck this went. And I don't know why and how I could lose it when I keep all of this in the same area, my bedroom, but it happens. So note in self, vibrator wise. Actually, let me show you this one, honey, because this one's really super cute. This one is there it is. Lipstick, right? How basic and lipsticky does that look? Nice shade of purple. No, it is. Hold the bottom button. Battery. Also, I don't have the battery in here because it was in my case. And when you have battery ones, do not keep battery operated toys with their batteries in them while you store them away and not use them. for obviously many reasons, but that's one of them. But I guess you won't really care. You're on the other side. So pretend it had its battery. We don't need to go that far. Waka waka. Let's get back on here. Now that I am here, I can't fucking figure it out. There, I was on the wrong side. So this will give you, it's got 8 different settings. See, it even says 8 times. It has 8 different powers. This is silicone topping. Looks like lipstick cover, which of course, keeping it clean afterwards. It's a nice little clit tipper. So when having sex, it's nice. It's not too huge. And with they're penetrating you, you can play with that because we all know guys can't flick it fast enough. So, most of the time. But yeah. And then once it's clean, I also like the fact this little guy, because it's covered. Because there's a cover. And again, when I'm going back to this guy and the silicone, and I was talking about this, I want to make cases because you should have something around in between your like these guys aren't because they're not 2 silicones together, but say this, these 2 are sitting in the box together. That's silicones together, and that's not good. And it's just for the prolonged longevity. It's not all of a sudden going to like eat away. But hey, if you all of a sudden aren't one to play with yourself on a regular basis, and then all of a sudden you don't, can't find the fucking cord, then, and you may not be using it for 6 months because cord never showed up. But these guys were sitting in the box for 6 months. I've got some other toys that I had just sitting, and I was like, ooh, I should know better. But yeah, and with this little cover, makes it really easy to just put in your purse, bring with you for your night out, your date. Nobody knows, but how fun. I fucking love this thing. I also have, just because we're on YouTube and I can, this one just looks like lipstick. Again, I don't wear makeup. I put on cover up today just so you didn't have to see my scarry face. Looks like lipstick. But where's my top? It's actually a weed pipe. So yeah, all this lipstick in my purse and I don't even wear makeup. Yeah, so I'm working on, I want to custom make my own, and also wet blankets, because for those who make real good messes and you don't want to sleep in wet spots, I want to create my own blankets. There's a company out there that's called pause.com, and I think it's pause.com, something like that. They make beautiful blankets that are completely waterproof. They're meant to let you throw over your couch or in your car, see to, cover from the dog and whatever mess it may make. But it's fully machine washable and fully waterproof. So, hello. But they have beautiful, like animal kind of like pattern and like that shaggy texture. So really beautiful throws through the pet one. There is a Canadian company called No More Wet Spot, and they've got, it looks like a basic fleece, but they're like severely good. Like you should see, like that is water fucking proof. So yeah, it's just to have that. I know when I'm not with anybody and I want to be home alone, I don't play with myself more often than not because I don't want to have to deal with a wet spot or any of that later. I want to just pass out. So, yeah, having those kind of blankets, you just throw them down and then just move them out of the way and deal with them the next day. And you sleep soundly. So, yeah, they're really cool. But yeah, having containers and proper organizations and things for your bits and your parts, consider it. But yeah, woo, I have rollaways. Oh yeah, and see, here's another one. Oh, see, look, it's pushing buttons. Sorry, did I end anything? No, but I am typing things. New vibrator is typing things. Also another, is it not in here? Where did it go? My tickle trunk of things. It will get that big. Kelly has one. She used to work for Passion Parties, my girl that's in the other person that's in here. And her collection is amazing. It is. She teaches all kinds of fun stuff. So she's more than anything. But yeah, I will share with you, being that if you don't have one, then you obviously hadn't had one necessarily, and that if you were to think of any of them, there's yes, there is the tablecloth, my dear. However, you know what I did? I didn't have a tablecloth, but I had an unused, stupid dollar store shower curtain that I laid down, folded over, because I didn't need it to cover the whole bed. It wasn't like, hello, it wasn't a tsunami coming, but lay that down and then a towel on top. So the towel to absorb and then the plastic to really protect. Well, apparently there was a tsunami coming on that one. And I missed more than that, and the plastic didn't stay. It all went all over. It was a mess and a disaster. I can tell you that was a huge reason that it was like, well, it was a tsunami that came after because it was the first orgasm I had after my marriage. So, but playing with myself on the camera and with a dude somewhere. But yeah, so that was kind of funny and hilarious. But big inspiration of why I definitely need a wet blanket. And I don't want to look like I used to have, and I don't know whatever happened to them, but like when I was single before my marriage and stuff, and oddly, because they were secondhand, but from my great aunt who passed away. But you wash these things, so whatever. But there were those wet pea blanket thingies that you probably use for like kids. But she was senior and she didn't need it anymore, and I was broke and it was clean and it was going. So fuck it, whatever. I used it and kept my bed dry all the time. So I kept that under my sheet. So my sheet would always be, but then like just so nobody could see the pee pad. Oh, I know what happened to it. Reedman destroyed it. He was always pretty sick. We always had to keep that on his bed because he just randomly had such vomiting fits. But that's not sexy to talk about. I hang out with my dildo in my hand here. So I wanted to come back and mention, while I'm thinking about a Glorify, what I always would tell my customers as well, that when going for a vibrator, there's wand. This is about the exterior. So if you're about penetration and exterior play, then something like the rabbit kind of idea. I have one of those in my red box over there, just not in this current bag. Can go, but really the rabbit I really didn't really sell a lot because that wasn't one I would go to, because the rabbit, I found that when I used to use mine, it was either you're using the bunny rabbit ears or you're using the actual vibrator part, but you like both are not really, because we're just not all made the same. So like where the length of the bunny rabbit is on top of, and where how far for this to touch and play with your clit properly while you're doing anything with this, it really didn't do it. So there's this going with power around. Also be mindful of, it's not just on the side. I hate the tsunami came when I turned it and was like, well, let's try it from like right from the tip and blah, 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 from the direction that they're not ergonomically made for. But woo, that's how a tsunami came. So highly recommend. This guy's going to run you about $100. So this is what, if you're going to go in and you're going to invest in something in the longevity of it, as long as you can fucking remember your cord, this guy's good. Having a little guy, just a little bullet. They come in so many different ways and shapes and shorts and sizes, and all it is, it's your little clip player. So for them not to flick it fast enough for you, you can add pleasure or however. So if you're an outside person, actually, if you are not so much about penetration and you really like all of the outside play, go with a bullet as your starter, so you can just kind of play and feel out. But there's so much more, like the suckers that are out there now. There's literally like they have this little sucker at the end, and it kind of, the whole thing can vibrate or not, but it kind of like has this pulsing thing, and then inside there's like this little kind of thing that kind of vibrates or whatever, and that's pulsating. So like the suction air plus that little vibrator over your clit. Woo! I haven't got to try one yet, actually, but it's on my list. So that's one. So playing with things that are on the outside, or the way there's ones that look kind of almost like a stingray. So it really goes over your whole labia. and also your clitoral area. But know that like your whole around your lips, below the clitoral area, your lady balls are up behind that skin in there, and they are all full of nerves and endings that love and enjoy all that stuff. And here's a funny trick that I learned from Sue Johanson and someone else. I can't remember. Kelly might even no, it wasn't you, but I think I brought it up with you and we talked about it. But your nose, this part of your nose under here is just as sensitive and like the same kind as like for your clitoris, in that the pressure or like the vibration at the end of your nose will actually kind of help you guide with the strength of going, woo, it's too much, then it's too much for you. And down there, it's just the same. But yeah, this area, no, it's not going to give you an orgasm, but it will tell you how strong your vibrator is for you or not, which I love. Yes, Kelly, we did have that conversation. So yeah, so go with something small if it's the outside. You don't have to go with penetrating. Penetration though, if it is your thing, okay, we talked about all these guys. This isn't so much an in thing. I'm going to be honest with you. I did put it in. Yes, it's wrapped like it can. It's totally waterproof, so you can play in the tub with it. So that's always fun if you want to. But my walls, my pelvic walls, it got stuck at one point in me, and it was an interesting trying to get my finger in there to like try to get it out, but remember, all down here and try to get it in myself to like get it out was a little difficult. So that's when I believed that all the boys were telling me I was tight, and I appreciate that compliment. These guys, this guy's just a little, he's just a little fiver. This guy, you can go if you enjoy the penetration. So this guy can stick to whatever, whether it be the wall, in the shower, a floor, all kinds of things. So you can use it at your own benefit, your own rapid pace. And also, there are ones that come that have vibrating things to them as well. So you can have a vibrating one, and some of them have well, no, not so much of those. More vibrators will have they have new things where they kind of throb. That's the word. They have throbbing abilities. They have twisting abilities. They have all kinds of things. It's more in the vibrator department. But the dildos, there's different sizes, different girths. Circumcised or not, non-circumcised is not a very common mold, but because it's more about this being about the texture. Oh yeah, twisting. They have all these metal balls inside underneath, and then the whole thing as it vibrates and kind of rolls, those little all those balls underneath kind of roll with inside you and kind of connect with all those parts within. So yeah, there's lots of fun things in there. So yeah, having a dildo, I never had one until I worked at the store. And I had an idea. I was like, I always wanted, I just wanted to own one of these in general. And one day I'll just use it, but it's never been used in that sense. I've played with myself, but not this sense, where it's literally a strap on. With this strap on, dildos then can also then be, in behind the ring. There's the whole cock ring and how that whole part works. But yeah, having the back part besides the suctioning can also be used to be held by the cock ring. The cock ring would obviously come here and then hold it on to the whole thing. So whether you're pegging a dude from behind or giving it to a girl from up front, whatever you're doing, give her in that way. Consider when it comes to strap-ons, a really good backing to hold it from it not falling out the other side. And balls are helpful that way. I know lots of the lesbians wouldn't want necessarily the balls, but I find that the balls are just helpful when they work for to hold on to better. They just work as a barrier. Stupid but funny but truth. Hence why we're here and having this conversation. But yeah, so dildos though, they can be fun. And then also, but also big, really good point with your toys, back door, front door. Don't do both, or at least make sure you're cleaning. Or if you want to use this, let's say in the front and the back, put a condom over it in the back. So at least you kind of keep it separate to come back to if you want to play with back in the front. Because I've played with this when with a partner and we can play around and there's that extra just, enjoyment. And it's about the whole just, tickling the nerves and all your pleasurable spots and collectively. It is not about whose dick is bigger. That's for damn sure. It can change. That's everybody's is different. It all works different. And it's all about how one can, grind and wind and even just wine and dine you in the sense of what they say to you is what really matters. And I don't have to explain that to you because you're a female and I know you get it and we've hung out. So I know this. But yeah, the main thing about when you're going for your toys is take a second, think about what is your pleasure interests and start there. And you don't have to start expensive. You can start with something cheap, get there, and then add to your collection as you go. And then there can be just some fun things. And we'll get into those another time. I see I've been on here for an hour, so I won't hold you any longer. But thank you for hanging out with me. And I'm glad I got to talk to somebody about the stuff I love. You made my day. And so, yeah, I appreciate you being here, girls. Mwah. Thank you so much. Might be doing this as like a Sunday night thing in the future. So I found out I could go live on YouTube today. And so I'm like, let's just do it. Let's just go for it. So here I am. Goal met for the weekend. And I appreciate you very much. We'll see you next time. Bye.